The US-Mexico border, a flashpoint for any administration governing these United States. In a special co-venture, Spectrum News 1, Texas and SoCal joined forces to tour the length of the boundary between our two countries in an epic 1,900-mile adventure, digging into the driving forces behind some of the biggest border issues of our time. To find out more, let's get virtual. The US-Mexico border is massive, one of the top 10 longest land borders in the world. Just under the length of the border between India and Pakistan, it runs from the Gulf of Mexico in the east to the Pacific Ocean in the west, passing through often unforgiving terrain that ranges from sprawling cityscapes to desolate deserts. In a series of reports from Spectrum News 1, Texas and SoCal, we're driving the border mile by mile for a first-hand look at the conditions, topics, policies, and the impact they have on the people from both sides of the divide. Traveling to Central America, to Guatemala as Vice President Harris visits, to understand the forces behind migration to the north and the fringes of America. Examining sister city locations and topics spanning the border and encountering real-life stories that perfectly illustrate the predicament of those on both sides of the frontier. From Matamoros and Brownsville, looking at the plight of asylum seekers, to Reynoso and McAllen and the impact of the drug trade. Then on to Nuevo Laredo and Laredo to assess the economics of border trade and local business. To Boquillas del Carmen and Rio Grande Village, a sweeping stretch of the fifth largest river in North America and the life of those around it. And Ciudad Juarez and El Paso, meeting the workers who built the border wall with the full knowledge it would eventually separate them from their own families. We'll also talk holes in the wall in Agua Prieta and Douglas, where the very road built to construct the unfinished wall in remote areas became a highway that ironically made smuggling far easier. Add on to San Luis, Colorado, and San Luis, where the water from the Great Colorado River no longer reaches the Sea of Cortez, putting great strain on the Mexican communities that once relied upon it. Then to one of the most deadly crossing points of the border, Mexicali and Calexico, as we ask why immigrants take such terrible risks to enter the USA. And finally, we'll join the Ocean Patrol to examine the forces that make many circumvent the wall altogether and take to the sea for a desperate last bid to enter the United States near Tijuana and San Diego. Our exclusive Driving the Border Mile by Mile from Spectrum News 1, Texas and SoCal is an eye-opening live study of the people, places and things that bring us together and pull us apart, providing a truly borderless look at what a line between two countries really means and the lessons that life on the edge can bring us.